All right, welcome back to another episode of the Burglar Report, Sunday Bible study. I, of course, am your host, Bible Dave, and I will be continuing on with my verse-by-verse reading through Ecclesiastes. Starting off with my favorite book, Ecclesiastes, barely just... If you don't know it, listen, follow along, or read it for yourself. In any case, got my old trusty, my wife's Bible. New Living Translation, very easy to follow along and understand. So, just going to jump right into it. And we are in Ecclesiastes. Hold on, man. Chapter 6. Alright. Now, just going to throw this out there. My videos, one shot, one take, very raw and unedited, so bear with me. Chapter 6. Little recap. Ecclesiastes. Everything we do is meaningless, like chasing the wind. So, might want to just enjoy your life, enjoy the fruits of your labor where you can. King Solomon is building up to a point here. He's covering his bases on things, talks about, he's done everything under the sun, essentially. Had all the wisdom, all the life's pleasures, all of life's hard-working fulfillment things, and so this is him talking, or giving advice, or, yeah. I'm not classically trained by any means. I'm just a layman's, giving my perspective, maybe kind of a new agey, contemporary perspective. I have some weird insights on things, but there we go. There is another serious tragedy I have seen under the sun, and it weighs heavily on humanity. God gives some people great wealth and honor and everything they could ever want, but then he doesn't give them the chance to enjoy these things. They die, and someone else, even a stranger, ends up enjoying their wealth. This is meaningless, a sickening tragedy. A man might have 100 children and live to be very old, but if he finds no satisfaction in life and doesn't even get a decent burial, restart that one. Chapter 6, verse 3. A man might have 100 children and live to be very old, but if he finds no satisfaction in life and doesn't even get a decent burial, it would have been better for him to be born dead. His birth would have been meaningless, and he would have ended in darkness. He wouldn't even have had a name, and he would never have seen the sun or known his existence. Yet he would have had more peace than had grown up to be an unhappy man. He might live 1,000 years twice over, but still not find contentment. And since he must die like everyone else, well, what's the use? This is almost a comedy, I would say. All people spend their lives searching or scratching for food, but they never seem to have enough. So are wise people really better off than fools? Do poor people gain anything by being wise and knowing how to act in front of others? Enjoy what you have rather than desiring what you don't have. Just dreaming about nice things is meaningless, like chasing the wind. Very true. The future, determined and unknown. Verse 10. Everything has already been decided. It is known long ago what each person would be. There is no use arguing with God about your destiny. The more words you speak, the less they mean. So what good are they? In the few days of our meaningless lives, who knows how our days can be best spent? Our lives are like a shadow. Who can tell what will happen on earth after we are gone? This is very true. And to the point of your future is already determined. I don't see that phrase or that passage as being necessarily everything's predetermined or fully determined, I would say, because we do have a free will. And the argument might be, well, if God knows everything you do, how is that really free will? Well, to that I would say perhaps when I was a kid we had books you would read and it would choose your own ending type books. If you're familiar with those, it would you would get to a point and it would say if you want to jump on the train, turn to page 77. Or you want to, not take the train, go to the next page kind of thing. So you have an infinite possible endings to your life based on your choices. I believe that's our free will in a nutshell. Maybe slightly deterministic, but both of those are more or less half-truths that kind of come together as one. All right, chapter 7. Wisdom for life. A good reputation is more valuable than costly perfume. And the day you die is better than the day you are born. The suffering ends. Physical suffering for sure. Better to spend your time at funerals than at parties. After all, everyone dies. So the living should take this to heart. You know, we forget. We get caught up in our own pleasures and good times, and you know, our days are numbered, so good to make use of what you have. Let's see where I leave off. Chapter 7, verse 3. Sorrow is better than laughter, for sadness has a refining influence on us. A wise person thinks about death, while a fool thinks only about having a good time. Better to be criticized by a wise person than to be praised by a fool. A fool's laughter is quickly gone, like thorns crackling in a fire. This is also meaningless. Extortion turns wise people into fools, and bribes corrupt the heart. So this is just a 10 different wisdoms for life. Anyway. Number 9. Control your temper, for anger labels you a fool. Don't long for the good old days. That is not wise. That was number 10. Wisdom is even better when you have money. Both are a benefit as you go through life. Wisdom and money can get you almost anything, but only wisdom can save your life. Yeah. Money is a tool. Money has its ups and downs. I guess they say it's like a stored form of energy kind of thing. It's water. Money is water. It's a currency. Currency? Currency controlled by banks, like river banks. Sorry, I'm silly. Accept the way God does things, for who can straighten what he has made crooked? Enjoy prosperity while you can, but when the hard times strike, realize that both come from God. Remember that nothing is certain in life. Very true. One thing I've learned as my life has progressed is just to be grateful for the good times and the bad times. You know, I've never really been one to get caught up in, oh, I wish I would have did that way back when, or people like kick themselves for not investing in Bitcoin early on, or whatever, stuff. We all have things that we think about, but I never really hold it to heart to where, my regrets are just passing thoughts for the most part. Because if anything, everything that I've done has led me to this point in life, and I've been very blessed with a beautiful family and struggling good health, but I really don't know what more that I want. A nice career change I've had in the past 3 years. So I don't really think about my regrets too much. There's no point. Also, because you live in the past, you think about something that no longer exists, like chasing the wind. Meaningless. Okay. Verse 15. The limits of human wisdom. I have seen everything in this meaningless life, including the death of good young people and the long life of wicked people. So don't be too good or too wise. Why destroy yourself? On the other hand, don't be too wicked either. Don't be a fool. Why die before your time? Pay attention to these instructions, for anyone who fears God will avoid both extremes. Once again, moderation in all things, including moderation. Yeah. One wise person is stronger than 10 leading citizens of a town. Not a single person on earth is always good and never sins. Don't eavesdrop on others. You may hear a servant curse you, for you know how often you yourself have cursed others. This is true. We do talk smack behind people's back, even if it's joking. But if you're eavesdropping on somebody, you can take things the wrong way and sour your friendships, relationships, whatever. I have always tried my best to let wisdom guide my thoughts and actions. I said to myself, I am determined to be wise, but it didn't work. Wisdom is always distant and difficult to find. I searched everywhere, determined to find wisdom and to understand the reason for things. I was determined to prove to myself that wickedness is stupid and that foolishness is madness. I too am a seeker of truth. I discovered that a seductive woman is a trap more bitter than death. Her passion is a snare, and her soft hands are chains. Those who are pleasing to God will escape her, but sinners will be caught in her snare. Indeed. Especially with these thirst traps on TikTok and Instagram. Yeah, that's a trap. That is a trap, sir. This is my conclusion, says the teacher. I discovered this after looking at the matter from every possible angle. Though I have searched repeatedly, I have not found what I was looking for. Only one of 1,000 men is virtuous, but not one woman. A little harsh. Maybe the truth. But I find this. God created people to be virtuous, but they have each other, God created people to be virtuous, but they have each turned to follow their own downward path. Yeah, we definitely get caught up in the flesh, caught up in our earthly habits. All right, chapter 8. How wonderful to be wise, to analyze and interpret things. Wisdom lights up a person's face, softening its harshness. All right, obedience to the king. Obey the king, since you vowed to God that you would. Don't try to avoid doing your duty, and don't stand with those who plot evil, for the king can do whatever he wants. His command is backed by great power. No one can resist or question it. Those who obey him will not be punished. Those who are wise will find a time and a way to do what is right. For there's a time and a way for everything, even when a person is in trouble. I find that to be true. Obeying the king, yeah, I got you. Do your duty. Because the king ultimately represents like some kind of you have a ruler over supposed a good society. So they're kind of representative of the people in a sense. I mean, I might be more referring to a president. But times of trouble, there's always a way out. You just have to pay attention to the signs. Indeed, how can people avoid what they don't know is going to happen? None of us can hold back our spirit from departing. None of us has the power to prevent the day of our death. There is no escaping that obligation, the dark battle. And in face of death, wickedness will certainly not rescue the wicked. Alright. Verse 9. The wicked and the righteous. I have thought deeply about all that goes on here under the sun, where people have the power to hurt each other. I have seen wicked people buried with honor, yet they were the very ones who frequented the temple and are now praised. In the same city where they committed their crimes. This too is meaningless. When a crime is not punished quickly, people feel it's safe to do wrong. But even though a person, I'm having a hard time reading today. But even though a person sins 100 times and still lives a long time, I know that those who fear God will be better off. The wicked will not prosper, for they do not fear God. Their days will never grow long like the evening shadows. And this is not at all. Why? And this is not all that is meaningless in our world. In this life, good people are often treated as though they were wicked. The wicked people are often treated as though they were good. This is so meaningless. So I recommend having fun, because there is nothing better for people in this world than to eat, drink, and enjoy life. That way, they will experience some happiness along with all the hard work God gives them under the sun. In my search for wisdom, and in my observation for people's burdens here on earth, I discovered there is ceaseless activity day and night. I realized that no one can discover everything God is doing under the sun. Not even the wisest people discover everything, no matter what they claim. Okay. We're going to stop there for the day. We got, the last 3 chapters. We'll finish up on Wednesday. I mean, it's pretty much a continuation of what we've been reading this past week. Everything we do is meaningless. The wicked could be praised, the good treated like garbage. And I think he's building up to his point where it's better to fear God, whatever you do, and to understand you have that base moral compass, to not mistreat others, and obviously not be too good or too bad. The extremes are catch the attention of the universe. Like, hey. Anyways. But also very important to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Don't be so uptight like most people are. In some cultures, in the United States, we work too much, work ourselves into an early grave. A lot of it is stress. A lot of it is poor diet, and it's really sad. A lot of people after they retire at 65, many of them die within 5 years of a heart attack or something. They just a long stressful life, not taking care of yourself, not taking care of your body. So make that as part of enjoying your fruits and labor, because this is your temple. This is what you're supposed to be taking care of. This is your spirit is in this body. Take care of it while you're here. And I don't know where we're going with that. These will get better. my communication skills are often lacking, and I'm just enjoying indulging in the word, I suppose. Doing this has been kind of just in my heart for whatever reason for the past 6 months. I don't know if it's just a continuing chaos in the world. I'm very much a fan of the 100 monkey theory, where supposedly there was an experiment. You had a bunch of monkeys in a laboratory, and they were teaching a specific thing to these monkeys to do. And by the time it reached that 100th monkey, there were monkeys in neighboring laboratories or miles away actually that started picking up this and doing this habit. So me just speaking these words into existence, into the universe, hopefully it just kind of has that spontaneous generation of people's thoughts. That's like just the Holy Spirit spreading out and touching people's hearts. That's more or less why I'm here. Whether I get 5 views or 5,000 views, I'm going to continue to do this. So hopefully you can join me next or Wednesday coming up. We'll finish Ecclesiastes. Maybe we'll get into some Genesis or Revelations next week, or just go straight into the Gospel. I'm waiting for another Bible to come in. I got this fancy George Lambda Bible, and it has some supposed direct translation from Aramaic to English. So there's a lot that's been lost in translation from what I'm understanding through research. And it's actually quite a bit of different sets of meanings. So hope you stick around and enjoy. And I will catch you later. Thank you. Follow, subscribe. You can check out my merch. Get this fancy coffee mug. Yeah, I don't know.